What's up everyone, KRT Yu here, back with some more F1 2021. This time we are continuing our co-op career, and as you can see, we are in race 2 at Imola. This is one of the tracks that, at the time of recording, I had mixed feelings for this track, as it is at least for me, a very difficult track to figure out and get right, to have a stable car around here and to be able to race pretty aggressively.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the
I
Emilia-Romagna
can
Grand
just
Prix.
mute this shit out.
3.1 miles of
It's
track
not a big
here
deal.
at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. And it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the rundown into
Still
turn
talking,
one.
still
It's all a bit
talking,
like
still
going into
talking, da
battle.
da
The
da da
unknown
da,
situation
still
makes you
talking,
nervous.
still
Those
talking,
pre-race
still
nerves are a
talking.
good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course,
Yes,
you have to make sure that
the
all
game
the
is
procedures are second nature to you.
still
that they're not
talking.
taking up too much of your capacity.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time
Starting
to
the
see how our starting
grid.
grid looks for today's race. Lewis
Hamilton,
Hamilton lines up in pole
Bottas,
position, and it's
the
Valtteri
front
Bottas that completes
runners,
the front row. Looking at the rest of
alongside
today's grid, we
with
have
the rest of the grid:
Verstappen,
Verstappen,
Perez,
Perez,
Daniel
Ricardo,
and Sainz,
Sainz,
Leclerc,
Gasly,
Fernando
Alonso,
and
Tsunoda,
Tsunoda,
Ocon,
Raikkonen,
Raikkonen,
Antonio
Giovinazzi,
and
Norris,
Russell,
Russell,
Mick
Latifi,
Schumacher, and Nikita
Schumacher,
Mazepin.
Mazepin,
The grid
and then
Mr.
it's...
Monaco. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, so there we are, back in the car, ready to start this race in the back row. Currently, we normally run with about half a lap fuel extra, just to be on the safe side, and I believe our race strategy for this race is going to be a two-stopper, going from the softs to softs, and then onto the mediums for the last stint. Who knows, safety car may come out and change that all up for us. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. It is Imola, so I feel like the possibilities are pretty high for a safety car to come out around here. As we get started to do our formation lap to make sure our tires are nice and warm for the start of the race, to try to get the best start as possible, as we are starting behind everyone, which is yeah, it wasn't ideal. We had a really rough qualifying session. I think I was barely able to even out qualify my teammate. Yeah, I was really struggling around this track. I didn't figure out a good setup for this track till maybe a week later. But yeah, it's a difficult track, especially one turn. The car really likes to have some oversteer in it. But I did figure out a pretty good setup to help reduce that, and now I really enjoy this track. Once you get a setup for this track, it is really enjoyable. Just the layout, the chicane right here is like none other. The curbs are really high. It's really tight. It's definitely a difficult track. A lot of the turns can be taken really fast if you have the right setup, and it's getting that right setup and getting that flow around here is really enjoyable and really rewarding at the same time as we get back to the start and finish line to start this race. Starting in P19th, we have a lot of work ahead of us to do to try to get into the points. If that is even possible, we'll have to wait and see. Here we are, 5 red lights. Gonna wait for them to go out, get that nice 3-bar gas for the optimal start, and then slowly applying more as we get off early, shifting into second to get the nice start. But our teammate actually gets a better start than us going down here, so I am going to let him have the turn, being nice and cautious. Actually, I go up on the inside a little bit and we almost make contact, and as there is someone off to the right and our teammate goes off as well, and we pass him, and now putting us into 19th place. It was Perez that went off the track. Like I said, safety car very possible around here as we take a look down the inside of Maze Pin, but we back off, making a decision to save the car and not try to make any risky moves this early in the race. Going through this very fast left-hander, taking it nice and easy, because I am honestly at this point just keeping my distance from the pack as we get way too close and take a wide line and get a little loose on the exit to try to prevent causing an incident, as our teammate backs off as well to try and prevent any damage to the cars. And here we are again, just staying back, letting the pack sort itself out before we try to make any moves, because even if we did make a move right now, there's Latifi right in front of us, and I'm not that great at close racing behind someone for long periods of time. There is a good chance of me running into the rear end of them, as we actually get a great exit off that turn using our ERS and getting past Maze Pin, and it looks like we are going to be able to seal the deal as we get really close to the Latifi and lose the back end due to having to brake harder to avoid an incident with Latifi, and we spin out as Perez goes through us, which is something honestly I wish you could turn off in online co-op, but ghosting is not even an option. So ghosting is stuck on in co-op online play with the AI, and at some points it is actually pretty annoying. If you come up to lapped cars, they're ghosted, and then you'll end up seeing them race each other through each other because they're ghosted, which in my opinion is kind of cheating on their part. But yeah, and the AI still get out of your way, so yeah, I don't know what the big deal is with that. As we're taking this pretty easy, since we did have a little spin, making sure the tires are not overheated and they're operational temperatures, to see if we can start pushing again and try to close this gap to Perez, as we have fallen down and he sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 2. DRS is also enabled this lap. We are 5 seconds behind him, so we have a lot of work to do to catch up, and we are in last place, which is not ideal for us in an Aston Martin team, which we should be up in the mid-pack. And yeah, we really bad start to this race as we go through one of my favorite turns right here, and I don't know why. It's just that maybe it's because it's uphill and you have a good bit of grip, and it's nice. Actually, it's a lie. As we get a virtual safety car, have to reduce our speed so we don't get a penalty. A lot of these turns are actually my favorite turns, to say honestly. Yeah, it's a really fun track to drive once you get it down and get the proper setup. Until then, it can also be a very frustrating track, as well, as I completely missed my braking point there and brake way too late into there. And have another little incident of spitting out, putting us farther behind. We are now 15 seconds behind our teammate. But it looks like Latifi and our teammate Salty go into the pits, so I wonder if they had a little incident with each other, which is the reason the VSC is out. But we should be able to get past them in the pits, and that is going to be 2 positions for us. But we are already on lap 4, and there's already a VSC, so a safety car in the future is probably possible. As we jump to lap 7, Verstappen is in the pits, and he looks like he's a bit far ahead. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get him. He is on the mediums though, and he does come out as we see him right there in front of us. He is 2 seconds ahead of us coming out of the pits, but we are gaining him on that straight as that's after he has the speed as we go through these 2 turns, taking the curbs pretty aggressively through there. And it looks like he is actually slightly pulling away from us, so catching him may be a bit difficult, even though we are on the softer tires, as he is, yes, now 2 seconds ahead of us. He is pulling away from us, even though we didn't have a great sector 1. And here we are, Verstappen now. Lap 10 is 5 seconds ahead of us. However, Alonso dives into the pits. I wonder if he is damaged, because it seems like it might be a bit early for pit stops. And I feel like we are going to get by him on this lap in the pits. So that is another free position, putting us up to P17 with on lap 11. And we still have a long way to go. 17th position, we still have a lot to make up, and we are extremely far behind. Mazepin is about 10 seconds ahead of us, and Verstappen is 5 seconds ahead of us. However, we are not most likely going to be racing Verstappen this race. So at this point, I am worried about Mazepin, as there is now a full safety car that has come out. And looking at the map, I don't really know who may have caused it. There is a dot at the start finish line. Don't know who it really is, but yes, someone is most likely out of the race, possibly at this point. As we try to catch the safety car queue, we're going to pass the pit stops, and there is going to be a lot of people pitting as we are on lap 11, and that is actually pretty close to around where we would have originally stopped. It's a little earlier, but it is a free pit stop, so we're going to take it, dive into the pits, and Alonso and Latifi are most likely going to stay out as they've already pitted. And yes, they do stay out, and Salty is now indicating as a DNF. So bad luck for our team. 1 car already out of the race, and it is not looking good for Aston Martin today. As we come out of the pits, we are 14 seconds, 15 seconds, 16 seconds behind Latifi. However, it is a safety car, so we are actually going to be able to catch that back up, and hopefully we can catch the safety car queue before they dive into the pits and the race resumes. This is definitely, at the time of recording, not my favorite track at all. It is very, very difficult. It was very difficult for me to learn. And yeah, it's not fun. As you can see, I lost the back end there. It slid a little bit, but it did catch itself. As we are trying to catch this pack, we are pushing a little bit because there is no delta I have to stick to. All I have to do is catch the queue, and I definitely want to do that before the safety car ends. And we are a good 15 seconds still behind Latifi, so we still have a lot of work to do to catch that queue. and then we will be off to the races again and possibly try to pass some people and put us up back into the midfield. Yeah, we definitely have some work to do as a team. Definitely need some upgrades to be more of a competition with the front runners, and I'm hoping we'll be there by season 2, but who knows. I feel like we're developing the car at a pretty brisk rate, and hopefully we can accomplish that. We do need to build our acclaim level to help out with that, and that's one big thing I've been pushing for. So as we gain close to the pack, as we can see him now coming through the chicane, Latifi is right there in front of us. Safety car is coming in this lap, and we are still a bit behind, but they are following the safety car, so they are extremely slow. And good thing I noticed, otherwise that could have been really bad going full speed through that right-hander. As we go back to racing, Latifi is in front of us. I just need to keep a cool head here, stay behind Latifi for a couple of laps, and then decide to make my move at a later time where I think it is possible, as we get really close, or gain really close to Latifi here. As we go to the right side, there goes that complete cool headedness, as there is a three-way race for 17th, and they make a dodgy move and they slam on the brakes, and I completely forget about my strategy and crash right into the back of Latifi, putting me out of the race as well. What a mistake I have made. I kept telling myself, stay behind, play the patient game, and I completely forgot how slow that right-hander is after that fast left, and completely crashed in to the back of Latifi, ruining Aston Martin's reputation pretty much. 2 cars DNFing out of a race, with Perez winning it, and Bottas and Ricciardo second and third. However, if you noticed, the cars did not match up. The cars in the positions said that Red Bull had 1 and 2, when they did not. Then the results prove that. It was Perez, Bottas, and then Verstappen. Sainz, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Norris, Alonso, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, Raikkonen, Russell, and Schumacher in the top 14. Russell finishing in 13th is a really good result for Williams. As we scroll down and we see Giovinazzi and Hamilton also did not finish the race. So at least we were not the only drivers, but we were the only constructor to have 2 DNFs that race, as we make it to driver acclaim level 2 finally. After our first race, I thought we were going to be there, but it was right on the edge and we just quite didn't get there. So we finally get up there, and that's going to help out just a tad bit. But every little thing at the start of your career is a achievement to me. So we go back to our home and see what there is for us to do. See what upgrades we can get, and see if we can better our car for the next race. So here we are, looking into the R&D section to see what we're going to spend our points on. We have 1,590 points to spend. But the question is where to spend it. And I am really slow at making up my mind, apparently, because this is taking forever for me to make a choice. This shouldn't be this hard. Come on. Any second now. Yep. Probably should have edited that out. But finally, we are there. We are looking at the rear engine cover in the chassis department. There's a pretty cheap one, 468 points, is pretty discounted as well. Discounts really help out in developing the car and saving resource points. I like that they added that into this game. It makes another level of what you can do to develop your car faster, as there is also a front wing main plate for 1,225 points. That is a lot of points, but at the same time, it is also a major upgrade, and our aerodynamic department of the car is lacking. We are fourth from last place in that department, and that is not great. Whereas our engine is a Mercedes engine, so we're pretty up there, up top with power. So power is something we're not currently looking into developing at this moment. We're mainly looking at the chassis and aerodynamics, and then possibly durability here and there, as Salty did have a DNF in our first race from a failed engine unit. So there's definitely some concern in our durability as well. However, we do need to get our chassis and aero up, as our chassis is only 5th from last. So that's not doing all that much better than the aerodynamics, but we do spend some points there in the chassis department, and we spend more points there in the central under tray in the chassis department, helping our chassis out. I really do think the chassis is probably one of the most important parts of the car, as it will help out in mostly tire wear and your low end speed grip. So it is definitely a useful place to invest in. Aerodynamics is another one where I think it will help with your top line speed, reducing drag and stuff like that, making your aerodynamics more efficient on the car. And then we also make a small durability improvement for the turbo in the vehicle, as we are 3rd from last in the durability department of the car. So plenty of upgrades to go around. We have 4 upgrades as of now in development. One is being a aerodynamic department upgrade, a durability upgrade, and 2 chassis upgrades. We are currently in front of Alpine, right in the middle of the pack, and hopefully we can stay there as we will advance to the next race, and we'll have to see what other teams have invested into their vehicles and upgrades as well. So now we just have to wait for me to advance, as we just take a quick look at our messages and fuel loads. Yeah, Jeff, I've finished the last race with quite a surplus of fuel. That is because I crashed out on like lap 13. So yeah, it would make sense. There's a lot of fuel in my car left. And we advance to see what passes, and our rear wing does pass, and we get our weekly resources as well, which is 337 points. And our next race is going to be Portugal. This is another new track to this game this year that was recently added in the last update. And as we look at the standings, we are now behind Alpine. Alpine has passed us in the performance area of the game, and that is pretty disappointing, but that is going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time when we go to Portugal. Hopefully we'll have a better chance there, and hopefully we will actually finish the race this time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.